And I definitely got my own problems. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? Like as it pertains to holding women accountable. The only woman that you can hold accountable, in my opinion, is your wife. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Outside of that, you can't hold nobody accountable. Like Elevator said, we all grown, we all got our own problems. Hold yourself accountable. And as you're talking about being effective and being effective, men, some real interesting stuff on here, which I guess they always do, right? If I actually paid more attention and just listened to the show as opposed to just like checking out clips, I get that, right? But one of the things that they talked about on here, and I'm really curious to your opinion on this, Rob, because you kind of, I don't think you've spoken on this from this angle before concerning the behavior of women, right? The
Uh-oh.
women's, the ladies. Oh, Rob,
W
we about to get in
W
trouble.
I W I M M I N S.
Yeah, the women's. I love women's. Um, he was talking about, and I you got to be careful what you play on here too, right? Even though like he can get away with it, I'd be scared because what Corey said prior to what he's gonna say right now, he said you got to delete all the female dogs. All the female dogs got to be deleted, but he didn't say it like that. That's not how he said it. You know what I'm saying? He said we got to delete them because they're out of control. And he said the reason that they're out of control, all the female dogs, they're out of control, is because of moral women. The moral women aren't checking the out of control female dogs. So he said the moral women are actually the problem. But forget me talking about it. Listen to what Corey and all them had to say. Right, check this out.
Is what I believe because serpent bitches outnumber moral women.
Well, most moral women are cowards.
Explain that, Mr.
Because they know the serpents, but they refuse to stand up and fight for what's right. A lot of times women, because women are oppressed in certain ways, they value womanhood over righthood. So
wow,
they give
man,
women,
but no, it's like sometimes I tell y'all to repeat certain shit.
yeah,
What do?
they value womanhood over righthood. So they'll side with the woman because most women have a victim mentality. Even when they wrong, you could be telling a story to a woman about how a woman wronged you, and they always gonna look at you like, well, what did you do?
Oh yeah.
Me, I was molested. I was 13. I was molested by a woman. She was 18.
And we'll stop it right there.
Darlene, like, ah, girl, we do that.
He said, oh, we do that. But I'm not gonna lie, man. Shout out to
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that take. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that.
Oh, then let's get it on then. We about to disagree then, because I 100% agree with that take. Y'all know it's Manosphere TD time. TD Manosphere TD coming out right now, right? I always hear, right, like whenever, like, let's say like you got like the Manosphere, Black Manosphere, all that kind of stuff, right? And they be talking about women, black women, and so on and so forth, right? And they're saying whatever they're saying, and they fancy themselves like on these Manosphere channels holding women accountable, right? At least that's what a lot of them say they're doing. They're holding women accountable. They're just exposing the truth and holding the women accountable, right? And then on the other side of the coin, what you'll see is, brothers who don't get down with the Manosphere and they're not with none of that, like they clown the Manosphere, they say that it's not a man's position to hold women accountable. I'd say outside of your wife, right? If you're married, but if we're talking about Manosphere stuff, these guys aren't married, right? Most times they're not married, right? They're single or incels or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But on one side, you got brothers that say we got to hold them accountable. On the other side, you got brothers that say that's not our job. We're not supposed to be holding women accountable. They got to hold themselves accountable. You get what I'm saying? And I have to say, I do agree with the other side. Now, there's nothing wrong with pointing out certain issues concerning, women. Like if you just want to speak from the standpoint of just, certain problems that you feel should be addressed. But the thought and the idea that as a man, like, and as men, we have to hold women accountable, and it's our duty to do so, right? Particularly as it pertains to the black community, when we're talking about black manosphere and stuff like that, you know, we have to hold our women accountable. I don't believe that we can do that. And I don't think that we should do that. You get what I'm saying? Because they're not going to listen to you or me anyways. You get what I'm saying? I mean, it's just facts.
That's where you get into the whole SBE thing.
What?
That's where you get into the whole, you know, it's a waste of time trying to shame a woman into doing something because there's no means of you know, getting them to act any kind of way anyway. But like, I think that that's kind of a like, if I was on the 5150 show right there, I would have had to disagree with Corey and them, because my thing is, when you get, and this is one of the reasons why I don't like gender content. I just feel the way that I feel about certain things, and some things I might sound like a simp on, and other things I might sound real hardcore on. And one thing that I don't care about is I don't care about a bunch of men calling me a simp. You know what I'm saying? Because more than likely I'm not a simp when compared to those individuals who would call me a simp. And I really don't care about women that say any kind of talk about relationship is female bashing if it's not showing a woman in a good light. I don't care about none of that. If it's your turn to feel the heat, then it's your turn to feel the heat, regardless of who you are. You know what I'm saying? So if we live in a lot of the problem with a lot of these arguments, right, is the first argument is like, a lot of dudes be like, women won't let men lead. Leaders hold people accountable, right? In every situation where there's a leader holds people accountable. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to a president holds the organization accountable. When it comes to like a father holds the whole family accountable, right? Then there's got to be a level of self-accountability, right? Which the level of self-accountability comes as far as your cultural values, your societal values, how you were grown up or how you were raised, things that you think are important to you. You know what I'm saying? So as far as quote unquote the expectation of quote unquote women to quote unquote check other women, okay, well, which is it? Are we sitting here waiting for women to check other women, or are men leading society and men holding people accountable? I think that there's a whole mechanism of self-regulation when it comes to men and women that's just non-existent. One of the reasons why, if you ask me, things are so out of balance is, for one, because there are a lot of out of control women, and for two, the problem of men being hyper simps isn't talked about. Is so many thirsty cornball, just thirst bucket men that encourage a lot of this kind of stuff. I think it's more of that than anything. And then there's family dynamics and just all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to these kind of conversations, it's not as black and white as, oh, well, women need to hold other women accountable, because there's mad women that actually do hold women accountable. If you look on YouTube, it's a lot of fake female grifter content creators, fake female red pill content creators that are nothing more than you know, just on the opposite side of the misandrous content creators, because they all the same thing. And honestly, I think the female content creation grift is even more misandrous than the male bashing, because at least those women are actually saying honestly how they feel about men and how they can't stand men, when the female content creators that want to be the voices for men actually feel the same way, but they just getting the paycheck trying to act like they're advocates. But the real actual women who actually, you know, have some type of values about themselves, they do say stuff all the time. Now, if somebody listen, you know what I'm saying, that's a different story versus if they don't listen. You know what I'm saying? And why do they listen, or why do they not listen? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? I think it's because of society. We live in a capitalist society. You know what I'm saying? In a capitalist society, what matters the most is making revenue. And when it comes to revenue, that can be in the form of fiat, that can be in the form of a reward, that can be in the form of a nice prenuptial agreement, you know what I'm saying, where you might get some nice alimony out of a marriage, or it might come in the form of attention. Who knows? But our societal values trickle down to family values, which trickle down to individual values, and it makes ineffective men and out of control women. And we're dealing with a situation where most women are out of control and most men are ineffective, in my opinion. So you can't leave the ineffectiveness of men out of the conversation, and the failure of creation of solid individual men out of the conversation when we talking about why a lot of these things are out of balance. If people knew how to put it down the right way and people knew, you know, how to maintain their households and stuff like that, a lot of these problems wouldn't even be existent. And at the same time, if people knew how to raise, you know, children in the right way, they would develop into effective and self-regulating adults, which is something that we are starting to see a lot less of. You know what I'm saying?
And that also coincides with the comment that I have highlighted on the screen right now that I personally 100% agree with. You know, we all grown, hold yourself accountable. I got my own problems, and I definitely got my own problems. You get what I'm saying? Like, as it pertains to holding women accountable, the only woman that you can hold accountable, in my opinion, is your wife. You get what I'm saying? Outside of that, you can't hold nobody accountable. Like Elevator said, we all grown, we all got our own problems. Hold yourself accountable. And as you're talking about being effective and being effective men, you know, I fancy myself an effective man. You know what I'm saying? I fancy myself that because, you know, my wife adheres to my lead, but it's because I'm effective. It's not because she weak. You know what I'm saying? That's certainly not because of that. But like, you know, when you doing what you're supposed to do and you handling your business, they'll defer to you naturally, as that is a natural order of things. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I personally believe. And I've seen that in my household because I wasn't always an effective man. I wasn't. You know, me and my wife, we've been together for a long time, and I wasn't always an effective man. And when I wasn't an effective man during that era of our relationship, she wasn't adhering to anything that I was talking about, as she shouldn't be, right? Because who are you to what? You know, what you trying to say? What you talking about right now? Now I know some people might say, "Oh no, you got to always adhere to me, or else the relationship off," or whatever the case may be. There was always a certain element of respect there. Not a certain element. There was always an element of respect within our relationship there. But in terms of taking to your leadership, you know, right? If you are ineffective, as I was once ineffective while in the relationship with my wife and prior to us being married, well, what lead is there even for her to take? Or what lead is there for her to follow behind when I'm not leading? You get what I'm saying? So it wasn't until I actually took the reins of the relationship by just leading and just living my life effectively in her, and then my son and the rest of the family seeing me being effective and leading accordingly by my actions and what I'm doing and how I provide and how I conduct myself. Now, all of a sudden, I see everybody fall in line. You get what I'm saying? And they check in with me before they do certain things. You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
Yeah, man. So
Facts.
that's what it is.